Good evening, Southwest Arkansas. Welcome back to Southwest Arkansas weather here, and welcome back to the page. First time in a little while that we've done a video vlog or a live video evening weather vlog here. But first, we're going to start off with what we're currently seeing on satellite. So through this live stream, we're going to take a look at the 6 day forecast, including the Thanksgiving outlook and also the evening weather blog as well. What's going on currently, what we have in store for Monday. That's the big day this week with severe weather chances and a little more details on that, talking about the setup behind that. Starting off first, you do see satellite here. Here's our system that's heading towards us. You can see this, our low pressure system over there off in the Four Corners region of the country. And you can see those storms firing off in Oklahoma and in the Texas area. Looking at radar, you can see that area of showers and storms ongoing down here across Oklahoma. That's going to continue to make its way towards us through the overnight time frame tonight and into tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about that though here in just a little bit. We do have a new flood watch that's just been issued for Howard, Hempstead, Sevier, Nevada, Lafayette, Miller, and Little River counties. That goes in effect through 6 a.m. Monday through Monday evening. Excessive runoff may result in flooding of rivers, creeks, streams, and other low-lying and flood-prone locations. Flooding may occur in poor drainage in urban areas. Storm drains and ditches may become clogged with debris. Excessive heavy rainfall of near 1 to 3 inches with isolated higher amounts will be possible during the day Monday through Monday evening. So that's just a little information on that. And some little more here. Let's jump into the 6 day forecast real quick. First, starting off with the 6 day forecast, you can see as we go throughout this week, the big day is Monday. We have a chance of some heavier storms, heavy rainfall, small chance of severe weather, 90% chance of rainfall throughout the day, expecting rain to continue throughout most of the day on Monday. Highs only in the 60s, though, lower 60s, and overnight lows in the mid 50s. Then throughout the rest of the week, we clear out with some partly cloudy to sunny skies through Tuesday through Friday of this week, actually, with highs in the 60s, cooling down into the 50s on Wednesday and into the 30s for overnight lows Wednesday night to Thanksgiving morning. Thanksgiving right now looks to be sunny, highs in the lower 50s and overnight lows in the lower 40s. Partly cloudy skies on Friday with highs in the mid 50s and overnight lows in the 30s. Then on Saturday, we have another chance of rain as rain chances will increase probably into this weekend with some thunderstorms. 50% chance right now. Overnight lows only going to get down into the upper 40s and forecasted highs in the 50s there for your day there on Saturday. So that's just a quick preview of the 6 day forecast. Let's jump into the severe weather outlook. So this is the day two. This is for Monday. The SBC Storm Prediction Center severe weather outlook. You can see here, reading this down here, you have the marginal risk, which is that dark green color, pretty much to the Pike County line up to Arkadelphia, over to Sheridan, down towards Nashville, just north of Ashdown and Wilton there, and then further south. That is the marginal risk, a 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. Further south, you do have a slight risk for Union County, El Dorado areas, over there towards Magnolia, southern Lafayette and Miller counties, all the way up to portions of Ouachita and Calhoun counties there, in southeast Arkansas and most of Louisiana and eastern Texas there. That's a level 2 out of 5 on your severe weather scale. Taking a look at each potential threat here right now, this is the SPC's outlook for the severe weather, for the tornado outlook. There is a very low end, and you can see this down here, the 2% very low end, darker green color for that marginal risk. And then further south, you have that 5% low end tornado threat there as well. Overall, I think the tornado threat for us is on the lower side. I honestly could see this tornado threat, depending on which way data leans and depending on a lot of extra details that we're going to get into here in just a minute, I can see that tornado threat getting pushed south of the Arkansas border. It's going to be close for our counties down there along that southern Arkansas border. We'll have to watch that tornado threat closely. Outside of that, we do have a large hail threat, which includes really just a very low end large hail threat, with a higher threat on the Arkansas and Louisiana border for large hail, and a damaging wind threat, a small damaging wind threat there as well with this, with a higher threat over southeastern Arkansas. One thing I do want to mention, though, is the big story with this will not necessarily be the severe weather outlook, but it will be the heavy rainfall that we get with this. This is the day 2 excessive rainfall outlook from the Weather Prediction Center. This is your slight risk for heavy rainfall. That is at least 15% chance of some excessive rainfall or heavy rainfall occurring across Arkansas, and that's a good majority of Arkansas there in that. From the Weather Prediction Center, this is their 2-day or 48-hour rainfall potential forecast. And as you can see, most of us see anywhere between 2 to 1 inches of rainfall. Some higher amounts closer to 3 inches could be a possibility in some isolated locations there across the region. So let's first start off with taking a look at the futurecast, because that's what everybody wants to know. Timing. What is timing going to look like? What is it going to look like as we go throughout the rest of this upcoming week, throughout tomorrow? This is the HRRR model, the 00Z run. So this is this evening's run of this model. Remember, model data isn't perfect. It's just one of many details that we use to build a forecast, not the only detail in building a forecast. So just take this with a grain of salt. You can see all that rain ongoing across Oklahoma at this time. And let me just see if I can move this down just a hair to pick up the time a little better on that. So you can see the time at the top of the screen. Well, you could see the time up here at the top of the screen. This will show you your potential time throughout the overnight hours and throughout tomorrow morning. This rain is going to continue to make its way towards us, and overnight we could see some rain and storms across Arkansas. This is not going to be the severe side of things. Expect a rainy commute tomorrow morning and throughout the morning tomorrow. And then as we head in towards the afternoon, we're going to have to watch for some more storms. Pretty much expect rain and storms throughout most of the day tomorrow. But the afternoon time frame is really when we're going to have to watch for, because our big thing with this event is we're watching a warm front. How far north does that warm front get? If that warm front pushes up into southern Arkansas, your tornado threat increases a little more, because storms can get down towards the surface. And when I mean that, they can get towards the surface. Most of your storms on the northern side of your warm front, you don't have the instability or the storm fuel. It's cooler. Those storms stay elevated. So that's more of a damaging wind, large hail potential. If the storms, once they get in that warm sector, which is south of the warm front, as the warm front lifts north, that's more of where you could get your better tornado threat with that, because it's more of surface. It's a surface threat with those tornadoes. Most of the time, though, north of the warm front, you're dealing with a large hail, gusty wind threat, more of a heavy rain threat. So we're going to go over that here in just a minute on some model data, but this is around 1 p.m. We're going to have to watch for some more storms. If we do have a severe threat, I expect it to be the afternoon into the evening time frame, so probably around 2 p.m. through the evening and overnight hours. Because if you look at this, through the evening, early evening hours, I would say probably 2 to 10 p.m.-ish. Looking at this, you can see we're going to have rain most of the day tomorrow. It's going to be a wet and rainy day, and then that line finally starts to try to move out by that evening, and we clear out in time for your Tuesday, and we clear out there for Thanksgiving, and having a clear period there with that. So let's talk about that warm front. What are the possibilities here with this warm front, and what could we potentially see with this? Once again, this is the HRRR model. You're looking at dew points here. So what we're going to look for is this moisture that's going to continue to increase, and you're going to see this as we go into tomorrow morning. Look at these 60-degree dew points. This is just a very brief view at looking at where the warm front could be at and stuff of that nature. So as we go into that afternoon and evening, that warm front starts to make its way north, and I will say, this is the newest HRRR model, and if this is actually right, or if this is what ends up being right, I could see us potentially having that very low-end tornado threat across far southern Arkansas and southeastern Arkansas. Earlier runs of the HRRR model had that warm front pretty much just south of the Arkansas border, and that would have kept the overall severe or tornado threat down for us and further down into Louisiana. We will have to watch that closely across far southern Arkansas, depending on where that warm front gets tomorrow. Because after that, you see your moisture starts to leave out. You're still going to have some dew points in the 50s, but like we said, really for severe weather or that tornado potential, you're wanting dew points. That's just a good indicator of where that warm front's at, and those 60-degree dew points are better for that chance of severe weather in most cases. But backing this up here, you can kind of see that warmer air starts to make its way north, and we're going to take a look at that by looking at temperatures. And you can see the wind barbs here, these little black lines here that are pointed towards the northwest. That's your wind barb, so that tells you your direction of your wind. And as we go throughout tomorrow, you're going to notice that warm front with that push to the north. You'll see these winds shift out of the south, and that's going to try to make its way north tomorrow. Just depends on how far north that warm front makes it. And looking at our instability, which I haven't had a chance to look at this quite yet, so we're looking at this for the first time as well. Looking at our instability or storm fuel, yeah, there could be some. Doesn't look like it wants to make it too far north into Arkansas. That's going to be the biggest question, like I said, because what we're going to have is a rainy morning, a rainy day, but how far north is that warm front going to make it? And that, honestly, I think the Storm Prediction Center's outlook does a really good job of showing that potential with the severe weather outlook, with our highest threat being in that yellow shaded area, which is southeastern Arkansas down into Union, portions of Columbia County, and down towards southern end of Lafayette and Miller County. Now, like I said, this could change. We're going to continue to monitor this, and if needed, we'll have another live stream tomorrow morning before we get to severe coverage. But as always, monitor the page. Keep an eye out for updates on that. So right now, like I said, the greatest tornado threat is going to depend on where that warm front sets up. And if you get on the south side of that warm front in that warm air, that makes you be able to really destabilize throughout the day or throughout the afternoon, and leads to some greater chances for that overall tornado potential. Like I said, that slight risk is probably going to be where you have your greatest tornado potential at. Don't necessarily say if you're in that marginal risk that's not where you have that potential at. You still have a small chance, but like I said, warm front, warm front, warm front. How far north is that warm front getting tomorrow? That's something we're going to have to monitor throughout the day tomorrow with that, because when you look at data, this is we actually have a new. This is only 6 hours into the future, so this is a new model that just come in on the North American model, another one of our medium range, short range models, and it just come in, so we're not going to be able to take a look at that for a little bit there on that as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Like I said, the overall threats continue to look like they're going to be mainly a damaging wind, large hail potential. Warm front's going to play a big factor on how far north that tornado threat is. Right now, it looks like it could stay just south of Arkansas, but it may make its way into the far southern few rows of Arkansas counties, and we'll have to watch that closely. Like I said, though, the greater severe weather threat is going to be across eastern and southeast Texas and portions of Louisiana. Like I said, though, we have a severe weather risk. Don't let your guard down on that. Although tomorrow, it's going to be raining throughout most of the day tomorrow. Heavy rainfall will be likely. Some flash flooding may be a possibility. 1 to 3 inches of rainfall looks like a good possibility. Some locally isolated higher amounts possible. So expect to be woken up to a rainy morning, some thunder, some lightning tomorrow morning, and then throughout the day expect a rainy commute. So give yourself plenty of time to get to where you're going. And then that severe weather threat's going to be really probably the severe weather threat's going to be more of that afternoon tomorrow, probably around that 2 p.m. through 10 p.m. time frame, more than likely, or maybe a little earlier on the ending of that. But as you can see there, just expect a rainy, wet day tomorrow. So overall, like I said, warm front's going to play a big factor on that. You're going to hear me repeat that a lot throughout the next couple of days, or throughout tomorrow, until we start to really look at where it's at the time of storms tomorrow, and get observations and actual more details and stuff of that nature, because your warm sector is going to be where your greatest tornado potential is going to be at. And like I said, if you get on the warm side of that warm front, you kind of start to you're able to destabilize and get some more instability, storm fuel that you need for that. That's going to be a thing that we're going to have to watch for. 9 times out of 10, I will say most of these events, with the way it sets up, if we're waiting on a warm front, it usually doesn't make it to Arkansas. It makes it right there to the Arkansas and Louisiana border. But like I said, we're going to have to watch for it. We're going to have to keep a close eye on it, see which way things trend tomorrow throughout the day. We'll keep you updated with it. Although I don't think this is an overall big severe weather threat for all of us. I think it's going to be probably very isolated to the southern part, or very far southern and southeastern part of the state. Most of us are going to see rain, some heavy rainfall throughout the day. That's going to be the big story, with some heavy rainfall possible. Like I said, 1 to 3 inches of rain. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But if there's any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If not, I think that is all we have for the today and for tonight. And if we do need to go live tomorrow, we will do so. Once again, there's a 6-day forecast for the rest of this week. We'll keep a close eye on it, though. And as always, we're going to have our live nonstop severe weather radar coverage up over on YouTube. We will have radar updates here on Facebook, more updates out over on Facebook throughout the day tomorrow, and as well as severe weather coverage, or severe coverage if needed, on Facebook as well. So make sure you're following us on all those platforms and you stay aware tomorrow. As always, it's always good to have multiple ways to receive warnings. It's this second time of year where we really have our severe weather chances start to kick up another notch. But like I said, nothing we're not used to in Arkansas. So we'll keep an eye on it, though. We'll keep you updated. I don't see, is Wilton in the tornado risk? You are on the border of the tornado risk. Like I said, the big thing tomorrow is going to be dependent on how far north that warm front gets. I think you may get lucky there, and may, if current data is right, and if that warm front doesn't make it far north, I think you're going to be more of a damaging wind, large hail potential, and that's still a very low end threat as well. It's not necessarily going to feel like a severe weather day tomorrow. Like I said, there's going to be rain throughout most of the day tomorrow, and I really think we're going to be dealing with more of a heavy rain ordeal. Like I said, though, could have a stronger storm or two, but I think the tornado potential is going to be greatest across southeastern Arkansas and northern Louisiana and eastern Texas. I say southeastern Arkansas. Southeastern Arkansas is going to be kind of the, we'll see. It's going to be dependent on that warm front. So, but if there's any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. We'll get to them real quickly. Before we do that, we want to say big thanks, as always, to all of our sponsors for making this possible. Patterson's Credit Union, Southern Dumpster Rental, Landmark Insurance Agency, Palmer's Roofing, and J&S Auto Supply, Bumper to Bumper. We are blessed to work with some great companies here in Southwest Arkansas, so make sure to go check them out as well. Got some other big things in the works with our Skycam network that we'll have hopefully some more news on down the road. We are continuing to work on trying to grow that across the region for stuff like this. This is the exact reason why we want these up, is to be able to do severe coverage and put eyes on storms and help the warning process. Because down here we don't have great radar coverage. The next best thing you can do is have eyes on the storm, and we can do that through these cameras and be able to do coverage and be able to Lord willing, be able to do some coverage with them and be able to put eyes on storms and hopefully help the warning process overall with that. But overall, I don't see any other questions, so enough rambling on here. Have a great rest of your Sunday evening. As always, stay weather aware. Expect a rainy and loud start to your day tomorrow morning. Give yourself plenty of time as you go on your morning commute. Expect a rainy commute, and as always, stay aware. Have multiple ways to receive warnings. And thank you guys very much for trusting us right here with your source for all things Southwest Arkansas weather.